Welcome back to another episode of The Truth Is. I'm your host, Tash, and today we're digging into a topic that's always relevant, sometimes terrifying, and often life-defining. Because today, the truth is, the only constant is change. All right, friends, you know I always start by posing a question, so let me ask you something real quick. When was the last time something in your life changed and you didn't see it coming? A job that shifted, a relationship that evolved, a plan that got totally derailed. Maybe you got laid off. Maybe you got promoted. Maybe you moved to a new city, ended a friendship, became a parent, or maybe you realized that the dream you were chasing wasn't your dream anymore. Change is absolutely everywhere. It's inevitable. It's undeniably uncomfortable. And it's also the one thing you can count on in life. And for those watching this episode, you can see I'm cozy on the couch for this one. This is episode 3 of season 2, and I hope by now you're starting to get a feel for who I am. This is Tosh Unfiltered. It's me keeping it as real with you as it gets, sweatpants and all, no makeup, on my couch. But honestly, this is how my best work is produced. And this episode has been on my heart and my mind for a while, y'all. And let me tell you where it started. It started with a friend of mine, a tenured educator who left academia to pursue a career in real estate. Total pivot, 180-degree turn, completely uncharted territory. Then I talked to a corporate superstar, let's call them, talented, brilliant, but stuck in a toxic job because of fear. Fear of change, fear of instability, fear of the unknown. And as discussed in my last episode, shameless plug, go check it out if you haven't already, your greatness is on the other side of those fears. And then just last week, a doctor shared their anxiety about applying for fellowship, unsure of what city they'd end up in or whether they'd match at all. And it got me thinking, these are different stories, different people, different backgrounds, different careers, same thread. Change is everywhere. And the way we respond to it can make or break us. It also got me reflecting on my own relationship with change. I love startups. I've spent much of my career in early stage environments where things are constantly evolving. Be that product offerings, org structures, processes, benefits, you name it, it's changing. Nothing stays static. And in those environments, you have to be agile, iterative, and most certainly comfortable with uncertainty. If not, startups are definitely not the place for you, because you have to be okay knowing that what worked last quarter may be completely obsolete by next quarter. And I've also left organizations that asked me to go against my values, companies that didn't respect my voice, my role, or my perspective. And that's a hard decision to make. It's not one you make lightly. It's not one that happens overnight. Because, yeah, it's change. It's leaving what you're used to. And then there's always that voice in your head wondering, well, what will this shorter stint look like on my resume? How will I explain it to a future employer? But here's what I know, y'all. My values are my anchors. I wouldn't be who I am without them. They're my compass, my guiding light in life. And to this day, They've never led me astray. Ooh, that rhymes. I kind of like that. Okay, Tosh, go ahead, girl. I digress. So that's the why behind today's episode. And now that we're clear on that, let's break it down a little further. We'll start with the facts, as we always do. According to a McKinsey study, nearly 70% of employees have experienced significant change in their workplace over the past year. From reorgs to new leadership, tech rollouts, or shifts in company direction. And in our personal lives, a Pew Research Center survey found that 63% of Americans have experienced a major life event, such as marriage, divorce, death, or relocation, in just the past 5 years. I mean, that's 2 check boxes for me from that list. And here's the thing, change isn't just happening. It's happening fast, lightning fast. And with the rise of AI, hybrid work, economic uncertainty, and evolving cultural norms, we're all constantly adapting, whether we want to or not, whether we realize it or not. And according to the World Economic Forum, 50% of all employees will need reskilling by 2025. Think about that. Half the global workforce will need to evolve like yesterday, today, tomorrow, this year. It's 2025 already. And here's the truth. We can't stop change, but what we can do is get better at responding to it. And so you may be thinking, well, Tosh, why does change feel so hard? I'll tell you why. It's because change disrupts our internal equilibrium. It throws us off inside. Even when we know it's coming, it pokes at our routines, our identities, our comfort zones. And psychologists actually refer to this as cognitive homeostasis. That's our brain's desire to maintain a stable internal environment. I don't know about you, but I want that. I don't need things rattling off up in there. But when that gets disrupted, that's when we start to feel the stress, the uncertainty, and even the fear. Our minds, y'all, will often resist change, not because it's bad, but because it's different. And our nervous system associates difference with potential danger, especially if we haven't experienced that type of transition before. So even positive changes, a new job, a new relationship, a new baby, can feel overwhelming. And that's because they push us into the unfamiliar zone. But guess what? Growth requires discomfort. We all need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. That's where the growth happens. So, how do we get better at this? I mean, ultimately, that's the real question. And of course, I'm going to give you some takeaways to help not only cope with change, but to become more comfortable with it as a whole. So first things first, expect it. Change isn't a surprise. It's a guarantee in life. So when we stop expecting stability and start preparing for agility, that's where we build resilience. For example, if you're in a startup, change is baked into the business model. It is baked into the DNA of that organization. Teams restructure, products pivot, funding cycles shift. So expecting that instability doesn't mean you're cynical. It actually means you're realistic and prepared, because that's what you're going to get in startups. Change pretty much every day. Next, I would say grieve what you're leaving. Even good change involves loss. So give yourself space to feel. Leaving a job, ending a chapter, moving forward in your life, it's okay to mourn what was. Even as you embrace what's next, what's new, what's exciting. When I left a company that didn't align with my values, it wasn't easy. I grieved the relationships I built, the friendships I fostered, the identity I associated with my role, and the time that I invested in that organization, giving them my blood, sweat, and tears, my hard work. But that process made space for something new, space for something better. All right, next up, focus on what you can control. This one is really important because in times of transition, you need to control what you can, not what's outside of your control. That's what drives us all crazy. The things you can control, your mindset, your habits, your response. Research from the American Psychological Association shows that people who focus on controllable factors during change report significantly lower stress levels. And isn't that what we all want and all need to live healthy lives? Absolutely. So whether it's updating your resume, learning a new skill, or setting appropriate boundaries for yourself, small actions add up to a feeling of agency. Next one, I love a lot. Stay curious. Go ahead and replace your fear with curiosity. Ask, what might make this possible? What can I learn here? Because curiosity shifts your brain from survival mode, which I feel like we all live in constantly. It shifts it to growth mode. I once took on a stretch project at work I was wildly unqualified for, if we're keeping it all the way real here. And I was terrified the whole time. But curiosity kept me asking questions, seeking mentorship, collaboration, and ultimately walking away with skills I never expected to gain and delivering on a project that I thought was out of my scope and doing things that you don't believe you can do. That's how you build the confidence, my friends. Next up, find your anchors. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but in the midst of change, hold on to what grounds you. Whether that's your values, your routines, your people. Anchors create a sense of stability even when everything else is in motion. My values have certainly helped me walk away from the wrong opportunities, even when they looked good on paper, and I know y'all know what I'm talking about. They remind me that success without integrity isn't really success. And that one is really important to me as a people leader. So stay true to your values, y'all. And last but certainly not least, reflect and recalibrate. Every major shift is an invitation to check in with yourself. What matters to you now? What do you want moving forward? Taking stock of who you are and where you're headed brings clarity when everything else is feeling cloudy. So journaling, therapy, long walks with your friends, whatever helps you get honest with yourself, do more of that. And personally, I've had to become good with change and good at it. As someone who thrives on structure, what can I say? I'm a Capricorn. I like things a particular way. I used to resist it. But life and my experiences have taught me that resistance just delays the inevitable. And it makes the process way more painful than it needs to be. Whether it's launching this podcast, shifting my career path, getting married, or navigating family dynamics, every version of me has been shaped by change in some form. And I'll be honest, y'all, not all of it was pretty. Some of it was really damn hard. But all of it, 100% worth it. Because we don't grow in comfort. We grow in uncertainty, in challenge, in change. So yes, the truth is, the only constant is change. You're going to face transitions. Some of them planned, some out of nowhere that come and smack you in the face. But let me tell you something. You are capable of adapting. No. You're more than capable. You were built for it. So the next time change comes and knocks on your door, try not to slam it shut. Open it. Invite it in. Maybe offer it some tea and cookies like us Persians would do. But seriously though, be curious. And most importantly, be kind to yourself in the process. Because on the other side of change is endless possibility. And that's a wrap, y'all. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to share it with a friend, rate and leave a review. And as always, I'd love to hear what resonated with you about this episode. So feel free to connect with me directly. You can find me on LinkedIn, Natasha Bukhari, PHR, or send an email to ttiwithtosh@gmail.com. And can't speak, can I? And be sure to subscribe for new episodes every other week. Until next time, stay awesome, stay authentic, and above all, stay true to yourself. This is your girl Tosh, signing off.